Oh, shoot. Okay, now I got it fixed. Sorry, I did it again where I forgot that once I start OBS, I have to hit the live thing inside of it since it was pre-scheduled. But anyway, welcome. I know it's a Monday night. Normally I like to live stream on Saturday or Sunday night, but I had a lot of stuff going on to get ready for today, and I wanted to talk about stuff today after CES because today was Media Day. And if you don't know how CES works, CES has a Media Day, which is the very first day where they have all the previews and presentations and all that stuff. So they have like all the keynote addresses and the big announcements and all that good stuff. And then like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they still have some of that stuff going on, but it's a lot less. And then you have all the exhibits that have all their stuff set up so you can go like look at them. Luca, yes, my hair is very long right now. I look very hippie-ish at the moment. Normally I get my hair cut every 2 weeks, but with the holidays and everything going on, I just haven't found the time to get over there. And that's not entirely true. I tried to go over there on Saturday, and I got there, and there was like 3 people waiting in line, so I just said, forget it, I'll go back later, especially since I took today and tomorrow off. So it wasn't anything that I was too overly wrapped around the axle about. And hey, I don't have a lot of hair left anyway up in the front, so I might as well keep it as long as possible, right? So hopefully y'all are having a fun time today and got to watch some of the cool festivities. It's really interesting how they're doing CES so far, especially the way that it's tied into YouTube and the way it's tied into Twitter and other stuff so that they can live stream it. It's not something that's really been quite on this level before. And it's funny because in January of last year was the first time I ever got a chance to go to CES in person, which was absolutely awesome. Totally loved it. Well, prior to that, like all the years before, I would always be sitting there at my computer every day looking for all the cool stuff that was coming out. And that's how I would like pay attention to everything. So that was how I have participated in CES. And now it's, everybody's doing it at home. But even if you didn't register, even if you're not media, even if you're not in the tech industry, if you were paying attention on YouTube or on Twitter today, you could pretty much watch whatever you wanted to watch. Like the Samsung keynote was on there, the LG, the Panasonic, the TCL, and then everybody's sharing that stuff all over the place. So it's totally cool. And I think it's great because it really lets more people out in the general public get involved. And hey, we like tech stuff. That's why we're here. So we want to see the cool new things. And I got to tell you, there was some really cool stuff that I saw today. And it's interesting because last year at CES, like the biggest thing was the foldable technology. So you looked at the original Fold, they had that there. They also had the Flex Pi from Royale. And they also had the Huawei, was it the Mate Fold or something like that, Mate X? Whatever it's called, they had that there then. Mr. Wasp, hello, thanks for being here. A couple other people. Unnamed Review Guy, thanks for being here. Awesome Possum. And Jesus Ruiz Telez, thank you for being here as well. So today, a couple of them kind of came out swinging. And I got to say, I was a little underwhelmed with the Samsung event. I thought the presentation just really wasn't that fantastic. And the person that they had doing it, I mean, no offense to them, I don't know, I just really couldn't get jiggy with it. It just felt kind of weird. Like this kind of weird, just dude walking around and interacting with different stuff. But some of the robot stuff looked really cool. Like the robot assistant stuff, the robot mop thing. Hey, Bionic, thanks for being here. Yeah, there was lots of really cool TV technology. And a lot of this stuff kind of builds on stuff that I saw this last January. So this last January, the big thing was this micro LED stuff, or no, mini LED. So mini LED, basically you can put all these different TVs together. You can scale them and make them as large as you want or as small as you want. And you don't lose the resolution, you don't lose the brightness, you get all the great contrast and stuff like that. So mini LED really kind of is the way to go right now. It's really cool. And there was a lot of TVs that really had a lot of mini LED stuff going on. So like Samsung, TCL, it's a big thing for them. And I got to say, I think TCL was probably my favorite event today that I saw. Like I was really impressed with a lot of stuff that they put out, especially Their new 6 Series TVs, they're going to have 8K 6 Series TVs all the way up to 85 inch. So, yeah, I thought that was really cool. Retailer Tech came in. Thanks for being here tonight. And if y'all saw the announcement I put out this morning, there was that press release from BlackBerry, so I thought that was cool, and I'll talk about that more here in a little bit. Let me see, Mr. Wasp TV Gaming. I have a question. What do you think is better, the cheapest Samsung Galaxy 2020 A01 or the 2015 flagship? So here's the thing. You may get better top-end speed. I mean, if you're looking to play some games and performance stuff, I mean, you're still going to be able to do that with the S7 more so than the A01. The problem is going to be software updates. It's probably going to be a little on the clunky side. The battery's probably not that great because the S7, it didn't have that great of a battery. But you're still going to have, I think the Samsung Galaxy S7, I think it topped out at Android 9. I think it might have topped out at Pi, maybe 8. But it's not an overall bad phone. I actually know somebody that's still using one. And you're probably going to have some better features in there because it was a flagship phone just a few years ago. But I wouldn't... I don't know. I wouldn't really recommend buying an S7 at this point in time. I actually picked up an S6, and I did a retro review on it earlier this year, or, well, later last year, I think maybe around the summertime. And, yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's one of those things where the tech of yesterday can be really good, but at the same time, you have to temper your expectations. I mean, really, I would look more, if you want to get something older, I would look at maybe like the S9. And the S9 or like the Note 9, Note 8, both of those are fairly inexpensive now and still offer quite a bit. Especially, there was a big jump between the S7 and the S8. The S8 had the Snapdragon 835 and the newer interface, so lots of that stuff. Let me see. Retailer Tech, Sony Livestream at CES was a huge letdown. Yeah, I was really intrigued by that drone though. And I saw that earlier. I didn't catch all of the Sony one, but I saw that and I was like, man, that's crazy that Sony's trying to jump on that bandwagon, but it looks really, really cool. I'll see if I can pull it up here. I'm trying to get fancy here. I was messing with OBS before I got into the live stream, trying to get it to like pull up the window, and it just wasn't working the way that I wanted it to. But let's pull this up. So Sony CES 2021. Let's see if it pulls some of the stuff up. Yeah, so they're calling it the Air Peak drone, which is really cool. And this sucker is huge. It looks like something off of Star Trek almost. I mean, Star Wars. Let's see if I can move this over here. So let's move the window over, and yeah, look at this thing. That is one interesting piece of hardware there, featuring Sony Alpha cameras. I mean, this thing's got to be pretty legit. One, it's pretty darn big to begin with, and yeah, this is here. It's just a little 29-second clip, so you can see what's going on here. But I was really impressed with this. I saw it, I was like, wow, that's pretty darn cool. Hopefully, y'all can see this on the live stream there. Okay, yeah, it's delayed on my window a little bit, but I wanted y'all to get an opportunity to be able to see this thing. It's some serious piece of hardware, and this is they're not playing around. This is not something you're gonna go pick up at Best Buy and go fly around in your backyard. So, I don't know. I don't know if y'all can see that video there. But either way, I'm trying to bring this up so y'all can see some of the things. I didn't think about it till after I already scheduled it, and I was like, man, I should have done this on StreamYard so that y'all could see things better. So you got a couple of questions here. Sony, I think you're looking to purchase a new phone. You should probably get one that's newer in build. Yeah, that's the other thing too. Like what Celestial says there. Software is kind of an important thing. You want to have the most up-to-date stuff. It's going to be supported longer. You're going to get more security patches and things like that. So I wouldn't really look at that. What are my thoughts on the Poco X3? The Poco X3 is a very, very good phone. I actually have one. Right here, the Poco X3 NFC. It's a really good phone. I made several videos about it. You can check those out on my channel. It's pretty darn good. I like it a lot. And it's fairly inexpensive. My Note just stopped using 2 months ago because battery, yeah. And that's the thing. The battery technology's come a long way the last couple of years in these phones. So you can find some really good phones that are fairly inexpensive. Do I prefer Apple or Android? I prefer Android, and not just because BlackBerry is using Android now, but just because I like the freedom. I like the customization. I like it's better for multitasking. I get iPhones just because I think they're probably better for video. It works really good whenever I'm using my AirDrop. So I mean, I have two phones that I'm using all the time, and I interchange the phone with the SIM card depending on what's going on. So right now I'm using my Fold 2 and my iPhone 12 Pro Max, and these are both really good phones. But I gravitate more towards Android than iOS. I don't like how everything's closed off. Like Apple wants you to use the phone that they want you to use it, not necessarily how you want to use it. It frustrates me that here we are in 2021 with the most powerful phones in the world, and you can't close all the apps from like the menu screen, or you can't put your icons where you want them to go without having to rearrange things around, or there's no haptic feedback with the built-in typing and the keyboard. I really feel like the keyboard's kind of stale now. Like it was really good and on the cutting edge, and I feel like Android in many ways has caught up and passed them, especially with a lot of the other keyboards that you can use. So I really prefer Android. Do you want BlackBerry OS? Yeah, I would absolutely love BlackBerry 10 to come back and for them to be able to make that work. And it doesn't even necessarily have to have apps. I mean, if they were able to get it and just give it a refresh browser and give me a new phone with hardware to support it and just do the Android runtime emulation and let me get APK files, I would totally love that. I mean, I don't even need Google services. Just let me use the OS. I like this angle better. Congratulations on the growth. Yes, thank you very much, Michael Pepper. Yeah, I'm trying something a little bit different. I don't like just the regular front-on thing, and I've been playing with it a little bit. But yeah, I think the streaming has gotten better over the last couple of months that I've been trying to do it. Now I'm using my Sony a7 II now. I think I've got it dialed in pretty decently. Just because of the lights in here, I think it looks a little washed out, but it could do a little bit better with warmer color tones. Maybe I could mess with that in the color profile, but yeah. Yeah, 39.5. Yeah, I was really hoping I was going to be able to hit 40,000 subscribers this week. Like, I tried hard. Like, I really did. I wanted to be able to say I went from 4,000 to 40,000 from one CES to the next, but I didn't quite make it, but I'm not going to complain. 39,000 subscribers is light years ahead of where I thought I would be even a year or two from now. Like my 5-year roadmap was to get to like 50,000, not like over 5 years, like not to get there in 1 year. So things worked out crazy this year, but I have no complaints about it. I've been very blessed, very fortunate. Snow and Can, been watching old streams, first live one. Well, welcome. I'm glad that you could be here. Hopefully you enjoyed the older ones. Seiko, thank you very much. Mr. Wass, what do you use as your main phone? Well, that's that's a moving target because that can change on any given day whenever I just decide to throw my SIM card in another phone. Right now, I'm actually using the Fold 2, and I made a video recently where I talked about how I wish I kind of didn't buy it, and I still stick by that. It's not my most favorite, and I feel compelled to use it because it's a $2,000 phone. It's just sitting there collecting dust. But I love the battery life, and one thing, I made one change, and I thought about going back and making a video and talking about this again, but I don't like to do wishy-washy stuff. It's not about views, just to get clickbait titles. So when it comes to my Fold 2, I was actually very irritated because I had a Ringkey case on here, and it was a plastic protective case for the front and the back. And over the time that I used it the last couple of months, the plastic on the inside of it scratched and put all these micro abrasions all over my bezel on this left side of my screen by the hinge, and I'm actually going to email them. It's all sorts of scratched up now, and it really makes me angry because that absolutely shouldn't happen. They should have tested it better than that before they sold it. But what I did do, and the reason I noticed this is because I got the official Samsung leather case for it. And this case is weird, and I criticized it when it first came out because it only covers the back. It doesn't cover the front. But I mean, if you think about it fundamentally, like a lot of other phones, the case only covers the back and the sides, and it does that. And the front screen is protected by a screen protector, albeit I don't even know if you can get a glass one for here. Who knows? But I really like this. You can hold on to it well. It doesn't add a lot of heft or bulk, and it's really been game changing for me in using the phone, because I hated using the one with the plastic on it because it would be all around the edges and you'd always hit it trying to go back, and really it just felt cheap. Like, it made the phone feel cheaper. This leather case from Samsung, and I paid, it's like normally $70, but I had $30 in credit through the Samsung website, and then I had like $9 worth of Samsung points, so I ended up paying like $35 for it, and I would buy it all over again. I love this case. And UAG sent me a case. It'll be here, I think, tomorrow or the next day, so that's cool too. What Android phone do you think has the best zoom quality? Probably the S20 Ultra, just because it has that 100 times zoom on there. And I mean, you can really reach out and touch people, but the problem is, once you zoom so far in, you have to have it on a tripod to pick up the detail better and stuff like that. But I don't know. I don't really see a lot of value in zooming in that far. I mean, it's cool. You can zoom in and see the moon, and you can. When I was working downtown, like when the workers would be on the edges of the buildings cleaning the windows, like you could zoom in from like halfway across downtown and see them. So I mean, there are benefits to it for sure. I just don't find it very practical. From all the phones you have, what is the phone you keep coming back to? That would be my Z Flip 5G. I absolutely love the Z Flip 5G, and I'll trade this in when the new one comes out. And I've seen some things. I've seen some things with regard to possible leaks or rumors with them adding like a small little screen on the front for like the clock and some notifications. I think that would make life a little bit better. So we'll see what happens. Awesome Possum, he's getting big when bot spam. Yeah, the bot spam is a real thing. It's really annoying. Congrats to Sarah. She'll hit 1K in months. Yeah, she is. Her channel is going really fast, and she's on a schedule right now where she's putting out one video a week. So yeah, it's not growing super fast, but she's getting some traction. So I'm very happy for her. Hey, do you know what over the horizon means to do with Samsung? No, I don't. I'm not sure. I think Whitestone Dome makes a screen protector. Yeah, I'll have to check that out and see. I would prefer to have a glass one on here. I mean, really, I'd prefer not to have one on here at all because it messes with the sensitivity and things like that. But one reason I really like the Fold is because I like the fingerprint sensor on the side, and that's the same as with the Z Flip. I tried going back and using my Note 20 Ultra for a day, and that lasted less than a charging cycle because the fingerprint sensor under the screen is so irritating. Chemist, one of Kyle's friends. So, hello, Josiah. Thank you for being here this evening. Have you done a follow-up on Unihertz Titan? I've been thinking about getting one. No, I did my original review on that, and I made 3 or 4 videos on it, and it really wasn't to my liking. So, I think that it's okay. I think it's perfectly good hardware, especially for the price. But I'm waiting to see what happens with the Titan 2. They're supposed to be making another one, and they reached out to me a little while back, and they're going to send me one when it gets ready to come out. So that's cool. I don't know how mods work. How does this work? There you go, Retethered. You're a mod now. I trust you. Keys of the Kingdom. Yeah, so going back to some of the stuff about CES, because I really want to talk about that. And we got quite a few people in here right now. 29 concurrent viewers, so that's really cool. And I appreciate y'all taking the time to be in here this evening. And yeah, make sure you'll hit the like button while you're sitting here so we can get that traffic up. So that's always nice. We have 10 likes right now. We could have 26 or 36 even. So I put out a video earlier, and I know a lot of people like to show up for the BlackBerry stuff. So I put out a video today regarding their press announcement. So BlackBerry put out a press announcement. They hired 2 new vice presidents that specifically are going to deal with the business side of the house. One for EMEA operations or sales, which is EMEA is Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. So there were some concerns with BlackBerry, and whether it was just going to be North American, whether it be Canada and the United States, or a global launch, or what they were looking at. And from them hiring somebody and really looking like they're trying to bring in the international market under the umbrella, it looks like they're trying to make it a global flagship, which I think is good. And then also for the government sales. And the government sales, I think, is the most important piece of the puzzle. They didn't do that with BlackBerry Mobile. BlackBerry Mobile really was just geared towards the civilian market, and they were not involved in the government sector at all. And BlackBerry 10 was really always, it was very much a government phone, especially with like the Black BB7 or BBOS 7 and the legacy devices. They were so ingrained in the government, especially even in the military. I remember when I was in, I had a BlackBerry issued to me. I mean, everybody who had any serious amount of rank or a special position when I was in the military, everybody had BlackBerries. And they had to have the authorization and the security certification to operate on the DoD network. So that was big. And the BlackBerry mobile devices did not have that. So I'm glad to see that they're re-looking into that, because I don't think that the BlackBerry phones are going to be able to succeed, or at least succeed well, without getting that in there. Getting those government contracts and getting those phones in the hands of employees, one, really goes a long way to say, look, we've got a really secure phone. So if they can get those and test them on their networks and prove them to be secure, then that's a big win. And then if they buy phones from them, that's a huge win as well, because then you're going to get those long-term contracts for the purchase of devices, which gives some long-term security to the phone company for sale. So I think that's good. What's the default Samsung ringtone? I don't know what the name is. Maybe it is over the horizon. Priority media list. Yes, that was really nice. I got an email a couple of days ago, and I can't give away the keys to the city, but they reached out to me and they're like, hey, this is embargoed. If you agree to it, we'll give you the press information and put it out on Monday morning. I'm like, okay, cool. So they gave me time to look over it, read it, digest it, and get the video out for today. And it was really exciting because I've been getting so many complaints and comments lately, and people are like, oh, they're not really making a phone. They're just using this for the publicity. A phone's not going to come out for like 2 years, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, look, this stuff takes time. They have to build this phone from scratch. They have to get all the wheels in motion. They have to get the business side of it. It's not like BlackBerry already exists as a phone company still, and they're just churning out another phone and everything's business as usual. It doesn't work that way. So it takes time. Mary, I like your honesty in your videos. What screen protector would you recommend for the iPhone 12 from Ireland? So I actually made, maybe I made a video. I don't know. I'll pull this up real quick. There's actually a screen protector that I highly recommend, and it's from a company called Spigen. Let me find it here real quick. I put it on my phone and I put it on my wife's phone as well. And this is the easiest, best screen protector I have ever installed in my entire life. It's so easy, and it's basically foolproof. Like, I screw stuff up and I didn't even screw it up. So that's not even an affiliate link. Just check that out. Jason Conrad, need to go. Bye. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Anyway, so I thought that was cool, and I wanted to share that with you guys, talking about the BlackBerry stuff. So I'm really hoping that we will hear more stuff in the near future. And I can guarantee you, as soon as I hear about it, and as soon as the embargo dates come around, you will hear about it. And that's one of the great things about having that line of communication with Onward Mobility, and that they trust me to pass that information along and care enough about my channel to give me the press release. Do you think Huawei faked their zoom camera on their photos of the moon on the P30 Pro? I don't know. I don't even remember those very well. I would have to go back and look. I'm not familiar with those images. Luca, do I still use my Pixel 5? Not really. I'll fire it up and download the security updates. And I mean, generally, I like the phone. The problem is I don't really have any videos to make for it. I've made probably 4 or 5 Pixel 5 videos, and I really love the Pixel 5. It's one of my favorite phones of the year. But when I have a Note 20 Ultra, I have an iPhone 12 Pro Max, I have a Z Fold 2 and a Z Flip 5G, I'm not using the Pixel 5. And that's just reality. So I'll keep it and use it for comparisons and things like that and play with it every once in a while, but it's not going to be my daily driver. Ed, I like that Onward Mobility is firing on all cylinders and focusing more on just pushing something out. Yeah, it seems like they're really into the business side of the house, and they're keeping things under wraps, but they're slowly making progress. And I would expect over the next couple of months, as we get closer, we're going to hear more and more things. And as we hear more and more things, I'm going to push it right out so y'all can see it. It's exciting. Retethered, what do you think of the TCL 20 phones? So I saw the TCL 20 phones. I like that they've still got that cheap 5G phone. Let me pull this up just so I can have the information in front of me. So I heard about these. I went to like a little exclusive announcement thing, I think like December the 22nd, that I got for like press media access. And at first glance, when I look at them, I don't want to ding TCL too badly on this, but they look like knockoff phones. They look like I review a lot of like lesser expensive phones, especially like the blue ones. And as soon as I saw that teardrop cutout notch, I'm like, man, that looks kind of like the blue phone. But we'll see. I'm curious how the display is going to pan out. It's got 5G. It was really curious to me that they went with the Snapdragon 6 series again with the 25G, and then they've got the one that's cheaper. So, like, I'm trying to figure out what their angle is here, because it's like they're trying to be a budget phone. They're trying to give us 5G, and 5G is a good buzzword. And some people are like, okay, 5G matters, 5G doesn't matter. If you have good LTE, 5G doesn't matter. If you live out in older areas where only the new towers are going up have 5G, then 5G is very important. So it depends on the area that you're in. So I don't want to write it off, because the new infrastructure that's going up is all like band 71, 600 megahertz spectrum, and 5G. So it's very important. I honestly didn't know that they were making, I didn't know Qualcomm was making a 6 series Snapdragon processor. And it's curious to me, because the TCL 105G UW has a Snapdragon 765G, and I guess they couldn't use that one over again, because then it would just seem like a rehash, like the same thing. So I don't know why they didn't go with whatever the new 7 series was going to be, 775 or whatever it is. So it was very curious to me they stuck with the 6. I like the 675 that's in the TCL 10 Pro. I thought it was very capable. And that phone, unfortunately, one, it's a freshman phone, and two, I felt like it kind of suffered, but because of the time of year it came out. I think it was originally supposed to come out earlier. I mean, I saw a fully functional one, like fully functional prototype, in January at CES, and it didn't come out till like July or August. And then by then, it's like the Pixel 4a was coming out, the Velvet, and that really, if people go to the store, they look around and they say, well, I can get the TCL 10 Pro, or I can get a Pixel 4a, or I can get an LG Velvet, or a Motorola Edge. I think it just suffered from too much competition at the price point by the time it came out, and they all had better stuff. And then you turn around and look at the TCL 105G UW, which was $399 and had a Snapdragon 765, as opposed to like the 675 that's in the 10 Pro. So I really expected a little bit better in the hardware department, but I gotta say, I'm sure the 690 is going to be perfectly capable. I'm likely going to get one. I've got a good brand relationship with TCL, so I'll get it almost certainly. I'll test it out and let y'all know what I think. But they really are trying to give you a good quality phone, I think, at the price point. And the TCL 10L this last year, I thought was really fantastic. So we'll just have to see. Anthony Davis, thanks for all the videos about BlackBerry currently using the Titan. Can't wait for the new one. Hey, thanks a lot. Yeah, it's a good phone. I hope you're enjoying it. The big turnoff for me was it was just so bulky and heavy. Like, if they can find a way with the Titan 2 to thin it down some, like if they could just basically rip off the Passport and put Android on there, like if they put that up before the BlackBerry, there would be a lot of people that would probably just go jump on that day one. You don't know how many people there are that want to see a BlackBerry Passport running Android, like a modern one. I get that so often. So, yeah, Unihertz, if you're watching this video, if you make one of those, it's going to sell like hotcakes. But yeah, so I like what they're doing with the price point on the TCL phones retethered. I think that there's a market there. I think they just have to wait it out and build some brand recognition for their name. When you say TCL, everybody thinks about TVs, so... And TCL makes great TVs. I have one. I reviewed it recently. Great TVs for the price point. So I think looking at it, as long as they can keep putting out phones every year, they can get them on the store shelves at Best Buy. If they partnered these things with their TVs, like if they said, here, buy a 6 Series TV and we'll give you a TCL 25G phone, I mean, I think that would be a winner. And they did that in Canada with their last phones. They had like a little deal where you could buy the TV and get a phone with it. And I think that would go a long way. My throat's so dry tonight. This heater's killing me. What's good, Adam from Sebastian? We are the same grad, lawyer. Found it interesting. Do you think the latest BlackBerry will offer a DeX-like option? I don't know. I'm really curious about that because I was very, very disappointed with the software experience on BlackBerry Mobile. And BlackBerry is still in charge of the software as far as the OS and the secure kernel. So I don't know how much latitude that Peter Franklin and Onward Mobility is going to be able to mess with the phone. What I'd really like to see is a launcher that resembles BlackBerry 10 with a hub that very much matches the original hub on BlackBerry 10, and I would like to see some refinements and improvements on there. Would we expect a DeX type software solution? I gotta say that I think BlackBerry's software department is probably not aggressive enough to do something like that for a first generation device with onward mobility. And you also got to look at the numbers. Like I don't know how successful DeX is. Like I have 3 DeX capable phones and I don't use it. I'd rather just play on my phone or my computer. It's not something that brings any added benefit to my life. And so many people are working from home right now. I think that it's a nicety, but I don't think by any means that it's something you need to have there. So I wouldn't expect to see that now. Maybe later. And also Peter Franklin he's a software engineer. He's got a software background. So I could see him, look, this is basically, he's spearheading this project to bring the BlackBerry back. I can imagine that he could use his brain power and say, look, these are some things I'd like to see in this phone that I'm helping create. So, that wouldn't surprise me if they did something like that moving forward, but right now I don't expect it. Retro Gaming Genesis, I prefer the Classic to the Passport personally. I do too. And I would really like to see a Classic reiteration that's a little bit wider and a little bit taller. That would make me happy. Celestial, I love Unihertz products. Got their Jelly Pro and 2. Oh, cool. Yeah, they wanted me to review their Jelly 2, and I was just so swamped with other phones at that point in time that I didn't ask for it, but I will cover the Titan 2 whenever it comes out. GoFlow Onward Mobility still coming out with a phone this year. Yes, they are, and it's going to be awesome. What key one letter P? Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry. Fights and Finance. Hello, what's up? Thank you for being here. So, yeah, some of the other cool stuff coming out of CES whenever it comes to phones, TCL has this, they have a scroll. It's like, it pulls out like a display that fully opens up. It reminds me of something off of Star Trek with their displays. It's really, really crazy stuff. And they gave a very brief demonstration. They gave another demonstration where the phone screen stretches out too. So it seems like instead of going with the folding technology, and I did see a little video clip where they had one that folded in half. So I think we're going to see some interesting things later this year. And I think maybe that's one of the reasons why they're slow playing a little bit on the 20 side. I think that we'll have to see what goes on moving forward. But I think they're really going to double down on these novel form factors. Retro Collector. Guys, help me. Should I either get the Key One Priv or Passport? I have a Q10 right now, and I love the BlackBerry. If you're happy with the Q10, here's the thing. Depending on where you're at, it may not work much longer because here on T-Mobile, they're supposed to shut off the 3G and the 2G, 3G, maybe regular 4G network. They're only allowing phones that support voice over LTE to work on their networks after January 1st. And I'm curious to see if the Q10 and the Z10 will, because I tested something out, and whenever I was making a phone call the other day on mine, it showed up as HD voice. And HD voice is kind of the same thing as voice over LTE. So I'm really curious to see if once February 1st rolls around, if it'll still work. So I'm kind of playing the wait and see with that right now. When it comes to the other phones, really, if you just want something else that's a little bit newer, the Key One is a very capable phone. Make sure you get the one with the 4 gigabytes of RAM. Ideally, find the black model. I'm very hesitant. I mean, if you've got the money laying around and you want to spend $200-300 and get a phone to last you till the new phone comes out, then go for it. And then the other thing with BlackBerry 10 is it's going to reach end of life January 2022. January 2022, it's not going to be supported anymore by BlackBerry, period. So whatever you have on the phone, I'm fairly certain they'll probably shut down the App Store, which is very limited anyway. You probably won't have access to the Amazon App Store anymore. So basically what you see the day that day rolls around is what you're going to get. And I don't know how that's going to affect the back end stuff either with regard to email. And some of the email stuff's already not working. Let me see. Sebastian Ricci, I recently picked up a Samsung S10. Utilized my Dex function as a key way to have an office on the go. Yeah, and that's cool. I mean, Dex is novel. And I think for people in the professional world, especially if you do presentations, you need to do work on the go, it can be very, very helpful. It's just that now that most people are, not most, but I mean, a lot of people are working from home. We're not in the same traditional setting anymore where you've got 20 people sitting around a table in an office in a boardroom for meetings 5 times a week. So I feel like that maybe kind of dampens some of the usefulness of it right now for most people, but I like that it's there. I don't wish that it's not there. It's just not something I use. Celestial Majesty, there's not a Titan, there's not a second one yet. They're working on it. And I don't know whether I'm supposed to say that or not. They didn't make me sign a non-disclosure agreement to say that I wouldn't talk about it, but they said that they're making another one, and they want me to review it once it comes out. Retro Genesis development ability and market demand aside, oh yeah, I would love to see a BBOS 11. That would be a perfect world. BlackBerry OS 10 was so good, and the only thing that was really missing was apps, and they were a little bit too late with the app emulation. So had that come out or been present on day one when the phone came out, then I think it would be a different discussion right now we'd be having. Live in Canada. Okay, yeah, you'll probably be good for a little bit longer, Retro Collector. And Awesome Possum, I'm not sure what the one is for the Black Edition. But I'll fire mine up and let you know. I got my handy-dandy BlackBerry drawer back here. Google's bought Motorola and HTC in the past. You see them buying BlackBerry one day. I don't see that at all. One, they have their own security stuff. They have their own Titan chip for their security. They have their own operating system that they push out. They own Android. They got Motorola and HTC because they wanted the patents. HTC, they basically used the design for the Pixel 1 and the Pixel 2, and HTC is the one that designed that stuff. So they basically just picked up their phone branch, and they got all the stuff from Motorola, but didn't want the brand. They just wanted the treasure, but not the treasure chest. So I don't see them acquiring BlackBerry at all. I don't see how that would work for them. I think Google likes to do stuff on their own, not pick up stuff that BlackBerry does. I've heard that BlackBerry's shutting down BlackBerry 10. Yeah, so they're going to shut BlackBerry 10 down January of 2022. So you've got a year left. Will they still work? Yeah, they'll still work. But if you ever have to reformat your phone, or if you lose something, you're not going to be able to get it back. It's just going to be, it'll work how it is. Like what you see is what you get the day that stuff closes down. So the network stuff, I don't think has anything to do with it. You just pop your SIM card in. If the network still supports it, it should still work. At least based on my understanding. Retro Gaming, what's my main phone at the moment? Do you carry? Yeah, I always carry at least 2. Sometimes I carry 3. I actually have 4 SIM cards. One with Red Pocket Mobile. I have one with Mint Mobile that I have as like a review, they gave me the line. I just haven't activated it yet because I had 2 months with Verizon with the TCL 10.5 GUW, and I had 2 months with Google Fi from the Pixel. So for a little while I was carrying 3 phones. Just because the life of a reviewer. But right now I'm using my Z Fold 2 as my primary and my iPhone 12 Pro Max as my secondary phone. Do you follow football? I used to. I'm not really this last year or two. I'm down in Houston. I'm a Texans fan. I did see that, and that game yesterday was absolutely crazy. And it was kind of foreshadowing because I know the Browns beat the Steelers before going to the playoffs. So seeing that game and then the quick 14 points that they put on the screen and that hike that Pittsburgh did, that was one for the ages. Goodness gracious, we got 50 people in here right now. So thanks a lot, everybody who's here for taking the time to come hang out tonight. And Yeah, we'll talk some more CES stuff here in a minute. I need to pull some more things up. But if you're having a good time here, then hit the like button. And if this is your first time stopping by and you like the content, then feel free to hit the subscribe button. And super chats are also always appreciated, but never, ever, ever required. JJ Park, I would love to know what you said, but I can't read that. But I hope that you're having a wonderful evening. Let me see here. What's some other stuff? So, LG also hinted at part of their, I guess, their new device line, the Explorer project, and they've got a cool new phone. It's a rollable concept. So basically, you can hold this phone horizontally, and the screen will like stretch out. It makes it more of like a tablet mode. And it was briefly, like very, very briefly shown off. This was not something that spent a very long time on the screen at all. And I'll see if I can pull this over so you can see it. And they've got a GIF for this. And you can see that the screen shrinks down some and it turns more into a landscape mode thing. And it says LG Rollable. Like, I don't know if Rollable is going to be the functional name or if that's something that's just they're using as a placeholder right now. So, we'll see what happens with it. But I'm really interested in that. And I had hoped that I was going to get the wing. I was originally supposed to get that. I mean, I could still. They've been tied up and LG has not been able to get the phones out. So that's why you haven't seen a mass creator review of those phones. And it's already the sun has kind of set on that one now. And I think right now you can even get a wing for like $600 or something like that from T-Mobile. Like, don't quote me on that. That's just something one of my buddies was telling me. Because you can get the Velvet on T-Mobile right now for like $398, which is just insane. It's such a good phone for that price. But I'm really, really interested in this rollable that LG has. And let me contrast that. Let me see. I want you to be able to see this this scroll that they have. But yeah, they have a rollable phone as well. And the way that theirs works, you can see here, she's holding it in portrait mode, like up-down mode, and the screen extends up and down that way. So it's really kind of interesting with what they have going on. So, and here, this is what I wanted y'all to see right here. They call it, I guess, the TCL Scroll, and like think of it like an old scroll, and like this thing, you just pull it out, and it's like a bendable, movable, like flowing OLED scroll. It's something that I didn't really expect to see, and this is in addition to the rollable phone. It's a 17-inch printed OLED scrolling display. I gotta wonder, like how how durable this is gonna be. Like, what if you tear it? What if you get water on it? I don't even know. Like, how thin is it? How pliable? I mean, how do you use it? If you pull it out like that, what do you do? Set it down on a table? They would have to really make the back of it protected somehow. I don't know. I like the idea of it. What concerns me is the practicality. So we'll see. I mean, but hey, I'm never one to say don't make cool toys. And yeah, here's this other thing. Let me go ahead and click on this. Bring it up to the screen a little bit better there. And here, maybe I don't think that was bad. Here. So yeah, this one rolls up and down. And here's my thing. I wonder. It seems like it's pretty smooth, but it seems like it's kind of slow. It's not something that seems like it's a quick process there. So I don't know. Well, here's another little video clip. So yeah, I'm definitely interested, and I'm definitely interested in testing it out. And hopefully I'll be able to get my hands on one. Like I said, I've got a pretty good relationship with these TCL guys, so I'm hoping to get my hands on one. And hopefully I'm not missing comments. I'll get back and look at that in a second. But here's another video clip here of the scroll working. So yeah, I mean, I like this. I like the concept, and I like the idea. I just, I wonder how practical it is. That's just the only thing. So we'll see. So I'll type in some other stuff here, some of the highlight stuff. Let me see. What's some of the other cool things that they talked about today? Highlights from the show. These are neat right here. If you see these glasses, these are actually from JL Audio, and they're designed to where they're like speakers, I guess, for your ears. They bolt onto any glasses. So instead of buying like the Bose ones, where you get the one size fits all, they got a couple models and you can put the lenses on it. These actually pop on to any glasses. So I like the idea because I like the way that the Bose ones are, but this seems better. Oh, yeah, and Samsung wants to fill your home with robots. Samsung had a couple different robots. This is a Samsung JetBot 90, and it returns to base and does all that cool stuff. Acer's still doubling down on Chromebooks, and I've actually got my Chromebook Duet 2-in-1 that I got from Lenovo. My review will be coming out on that later this week, and it's my very first Chromebook I've ever owned, and I've totally been loving that thing. See, Retethered, we lived in some crazy times, COVID, political and social issues. Now Browns. Yeah, the Browns are in the second round of the playoffs. Only 2021. Only. Retro Collector is a new design on the new BlackBerry been released yet. No, it has not. It has not been released yet, so we're still in the holding pattern on that one. Probably be a couple months before we see anything on that. With the rollable, if you let go with one hand, will the device flop? Yeah, that's my thing. I don't know. I've very limited exposure to what I've seen on there, so I can't say whether it is or not. And wow, 83 people, 89 people in here right now. So everybody who's here tonight, thanks a lot for being here. And be sure to hit the like button while you're hanging out if you enjoy the live stream. Retro Gaming Genesis, do you think there will be a no-camera version of the new phones? I remember it. I don't think so. And that was a very, very niche thing. And I think that was very much to appease the government so they could use these phones in certain areas. Like whenever you're in certain secure areas, like in governmental areas, you can't always have your phone. You can't have phones with cameras and things like that. So I think that's why they did that. And really, if you look at it like the government, why do they need to be taking pictures with their phones while they're at work? I mean, I can see limited case scenarios where you would need to, but by and large, it's like purely business. I see. The new technology is fascinating, but it does not seem like something you need. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff. And if you're new to CES and haven't been around or paid attention or ever followed them before, CES is kind of like that whole World of Tomorrow thing, the old World's Fair back in the day. Like, everybody brings all their cool stuff, all their things. Like, some of the things they show, one, may not ever come to market, one. And two, some of the stuff may come out later on down the road. So you just never know. But usually they're pretty upfront with their intentions on whether something will be out later in the year. But they take an opportunity to blend some of the things that are coming out also with some of the... taking some time to show off some of their cool prototype things that they're working on as well. Let me see. Hello from Perth, Western Australia. Looking forward to the new Galaxy phones. Yes, I am. So I'm going to get the Ultra model, and I've already talked to UAG, and they're going to have cases on the way for me as soon as they're available. But I'm going to cover the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra. Really curious about it because I want to see how it handles with the stylus on it, because the S21 is going to have S Pen support, and I think this is particularly important for talking about CES because I think it's the 14th. So Thursday, the last day of CES, they're going to show it off, and I think that's cool that they're doing it at CES and not waiting on until later. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, I like the expanded use of the S Pen for the S21 lineup, and then also the Fold 3. I've been using my Fold a lot more lately, and I really, really would like to have the stylus with it. Like, I think that is the next logical progression for the lineup. So I think that's going to be cool. Cleveland Browns Super Bowl Edition BlackBerry 5G. A 5G Cleveland Browns BlackBerry. Hey, I mean, you could probably get a skin for it and get some wallpapers and make it look like one, but I don't think we're going to see one of those. Retro Collector, what's my go-to phone right now? It's the Z Fold 2 and the iPhone 12 Pro Max. I carry both daily. Holding out for a new BlackBerry phone, it better be worth it. I think it will be. I think it's going to be a really good phone, and it seems like they're going to try and launch this thing and make it a global unlocked flagship. So I'm really excited about that for people to be able to get their hands on it once it comes out. Ed, is On Mobility presenting at CES? No. As far as I know, no, they're not. I've seen like the full list of vendors, and I've searched through. There's no On Mobility or BlackBerry on the list. So I'm curious how this is going to work. Usually, like very rarely, does BlackBerry ever announce anything at CES. I think the last thing they ever announced at CES was the BlackBerry Mobile Key 1, and that was shortly after the licensing agreement was penned, and it was kind of like a buzz thing, and I think they showed it off more at Mobile World Congress. So typically, I don't know why, BlackBerry has always had an affinity towards Mobile World Congress when it in like March-ish for in Barcelona, which of course that's probably going to be online digital this go around too. But that's kind of cool though, because I think I may be able to get into MWC this year, which would be great. I'd really like to be able to do that because it'll give me some more exposure. And I'm going to try and talk to the Samsung people tomorrow. I'm really trying to reach out to these guys to get them to send me stuff because, one, I like to cover Samsung products, and two, it costs me a lot of money to buy these things. It's not like, hey, I bought the Note 20 and I used that for the year. I bought the S20 Ultra, I bought the A71 5G, I bought the Tab S7, I bought the Tab S7 Plus, I bought the Z Flip 5G, and the Fold 2, and then also the Fold last year. So, actually, no, I got the Fold 1 in January this year. So, I probably spent like $7,000 on Samsung stuff in the last 2 years. So, yeah, it would be great if at some point they would send them to me so I can quit buying and selling phones to get them to review. Is at least 30% of stuff at CES or concepts? Yeah, it's just like any trade show. And if you ever go to like the auto shows and they always have cool stuff, I mean, I saw a really cool Bronco concept like 15 years ago, and it never saw the light of day. But now they have the new one that's coming out, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, there's always a lot of prototype stuff. Gonna exit for the night. Have a wonderful evening. Thanks for making best BlackBerry content on YouTube. Thank you, Retro Gaming Genesis. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it, and you have a nice evening. Goodness. Okay, so do I think it's a mistake on their part? I don't necessarily think so, because I think if the phone were ready, it would have made a debut, and since it didn't make a debut, that tells me the phone's not ready yet. So I don't think, I think it would be foolhardy and a bad decision to put something out that's not quite ready yet. So whenever it does get ready, I think that they'll push it out there. And I had some debate about this recently. Excuse me. I had some debate about this recently, whether CES would be a good time or whether it would be better to stand alone on its own. As most of you know as well as I do, as soon as they announce this new phone, people are going to hate on it because that's what happens when you talk about a new BlackBerry. So CES would have been great for exposure, but since people are not there in person, it's not as exciting. I mean, I wouldn't be there to cover it in person. If I were there to cover it in person, I'm like, yeah, I would run up the flagpole. But I think with this being a little bit more awkward with the online virtual CES thing, I don't think that it's necessarily a mistake on their part not to have it there, especially if it's not ready. So I think that having a targeted event, like their own virtual thing, if BlackBerry had a thing today, they probably would have got a couple thousand people, maybe. I'm just throwing numbers out there. I mean, it wouldn't be overwhelming like Samsung. And there's so many events going on. I didn't even make it to all of them. There's just so much stuff going on, and the media are really focused in different areas. It might have just kind of got swept under the rug, and nobody would have paid attention to it. So I think with On-Mobility, if they get this ready and they do like a localized event where it's just them and they send out invitations to people and they have like a big grand opening kind of thing, I think that more targeted, isolated thing, it's going to get a lot more positive publicity. It's going to get better coverage just because it's not having to compete with all these other electronics, and people that want to are going to show up and watch it. So I think it could work in their favor, but it's disappointing not seeing it at CES for sure. Maybe it will be called the On-Mobility Pro. I don't think it's going to be called that. I think it's going to have a unique name, and I haven't even sent them any name suggestions. I mean, not that they're polling me for one anyway, but I've been having a hard time thinking of one. Like, here's the thing: I don't know the features, and usually you can look at the device, and that'll give you a good feel for maybe some name options. We've had the Pearl, the Bold, the Classic, the Passport. I mean, there's always something that's about it whenever it comes to traits and the dimensions or how it's made or features. So I don't know. I don't know what a good name is for it, but abstractly, I don't want to name it. Yeah, the storm definitely was the start of the downfall. They were very confused back then with what phones were supposed to look like moving forward. Like the technology just wasn't where people's heads were at yet, and it took Apple to change that. And that's why Apple was 3 years ahead of everybody else, and it's taken 10 years to catch up. Goodness, man, it's 55 minutes already. And I'm going to have to cut this off right at an hour, just because I'm not very bright. I forgot to charge my camera, so it only had like 53% battery to start with. So I'm going to have to wrap this one up in 4 minutes. So if you have any last minute questions or curious about anything at CES, or there's anything, I know that I would have liked to have spent a little bit more time talking about some CES stuff for sure. Of course, we always talk about BlackBerry, and that's great because most people here love BlackBerry, and that's my favorite thing. So I'm always happy to talk about it. But hopefully, maybe tomorrow, or the next day, I can talk about some more of the CES stuff going on, especially tomorrow. Hoping to get some time in and talk with some manufacturers, and maybe build on some new relationships so I can get some new products to cover. I'm really trying hard to get a laptop to review. I'm trying hard to get a scooter to review. I want to review more TV stuff. There's just a lot of cool stuff. Yeah, CES Day 2 should be better. Like, Day 2, I'm going to be able to go to all these different vendors, look at all their stuff, talk to people, and get a good feel for like what's on the ground as opposed to just all these press announcements. And the press announcements, they're very superficial. It's just like, oh, here's a brief pan. Look at this. This is something we're working on. This is something that's going to be coming out in 10 months or whatever. So tomorrow will be definitely a better day. And I took the day off, so I'm going to spend a lot of time looking at these exhibits, talking to people and stuff like that. So we'll see. CH Gadgets, I did have a dummy battery. I had the Panasonic G100 that Panasonic had given to me to review and didn't tell me that they wanted back after I reviewed it, and I had it for 2 months. And then out of nowhere, they're like, oh, we want our camera back. So I had already bought a dummy battery for that and had that one set up for streaming, and then had to go back to my Sony a7 II. So I am going to get a dummy battery for this one. I just don't have it right now. And whenever I charge it, it lasts for like an hour and a half. So it's normally not a problem. I just forgot to plug it in. Ed, I had a buddy who had the Storm and rocked it for 3 years. Hey, I had people that absolutely loved it. There were people that hated that phone. There were people that loved it. So we'll see. Lenovo and HP is open. What do you mean? As far as like the exhibit stuff? I saw Lenovo and HP today, so I'm already working with Lenovo. I'm hoping to get that new X1 foldable tablet. They're supposed to send me one eventually. They just started sending them out to some bigger outlets. So I should get one of those to review. And I've got the Chromebook Duet that I'm reviewing, and I reviewed their M10 FHD Plus tablet that they announced at the Techfluencer event a couple months ago. So I'll probably get something out of them. I did send an email to HP. I'm waiting for them to follow back up with me because I asked about their new ARM-based like Surface Pro type computer that they have. And also they've got some new earbuds that they came out with that I want to test as well. So there's some neat stuff. BlackBerry makes enterprise software now as an all-mobility making device. BlackBerry is maybe. I'm not sure if they are or not. When I searched for BlackBerry, I didn't see it on the list of vendors. But I'll go back through because I've got to add some more for my showcase for tomorrow to look at. But yeah, I looked and I didn't see them, but maybe they're there somewhere. Thanks a lot, Ed. Have a good night, and I'll catch you later. And I'm going to get ready to wrap up shop here because we're coming up on an hour. I'm most excited about the TCL one, Zach. I'm really interested in that one. So we'll see what happens. I'm interested in both of them, though, that LG and TCL are showing out there. And that Scroll one just looks really, really cool. But yeah, so I'll try and do this again tomorrow night and see what's going on. Let me see. On Mobility. No, On Mobility is not showing off their phone at CES. I wish they were. So, do you think the carrier yearly cycle helps or hurts consumers as far as updates? I don't know. I think it depends on. That's just something that I think a lot of companies weren't ready for over the last couple of years, like the expectation for all these software commitments. So people, I don't know, Samsung just now is finally supporting their phones for 3 years, and that took a long time, a real long time. So a lot of smaller carriers still are not a lot of smaller manufacturers are not supporting them as well. And it was like before they would put out a phone and like, all right, maybe next year we'll give you an operating system update, and that's about it. And now we're kind of looking at being able to expect at least 2 or 3 operating system upgrades when we get a phone. So I think that the expectation is there now, and that phone companies are starting to deliver, and that's starting to be a competitive talking point when it comes to phones, because you're like, well, these are about the same price, but this one's going to be a rock after a year. It's not going to get any more updates. So that's my thoughts on that. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap up shop. I'm going to try and do this again tomorrow. I'll put out an update tomorrow and let y'all know for sure, because I do want to talk about some more stuff, but I got to see how busy I end up being with CES tomorrow. But definitely, if not tomorrow, definitely, well, I have my normal show on Wednesday night. So I'll try tomorrow and see what I can do. But that's all I've got for tonight. Thanks to everybody who stopped by and showed up, and hopefully I had a good time. Be sure to hit the like button, and if you had a good time, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you want to get notifications on new videos and come back and see more stuff. But I'm going to try and do this again tomorrow. I'll put out an announcement, and you'll see it on the community tab tomorrow. So y'all have a wonderful night. Enjoy all the CES information. Hopefully y'all got to see some cool stuff today. And Retether, thanks a lot. See y'all later. Y'all have a happy and safe evening. Enjoy your Tuesday going into tomorrow, and y'all take care. I'll see you soon.